Vous nous dites quand c'est bon?
Ouais.
Ok, sur le soir. Right.
Tu peux le... Tu enregistres en même temps?
Ouais.
Ok.
So, hello, Andy.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good, very good.
Are you glad to be here tonight?
I'm very glad to be here because, we pulled up, we had a really nice dinner here in Lyon and then pulled up to the club and it's a boat and it's very exciting for me because when I go downstairs and look at the club itself, it's exactly the kind of club that I like. The ceilings are low, it is small, and it's a little dirty. And that's how I like them.
So how was born Hercules And Love Affair?
It was just like writing songs and songs and songs. I mean, I don't really know how it was born. It was born, I guess, when Anthony recorded Blind, and we didn't do anything for 2 years. And then Anthony said, "Why are we not doing anything with this?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." And then we released it, and all of a sudden it was like, all right, well, first it was going to be just a 12-inch single. And then Anthony said to me, you have a lot more songs. You need to tell DFA that you want a record deal.
So you did?
So I did. And I got an album deal. It's strange how international the record is. Parts of it were recorded in Sydney, Australia, parts in Mexico City, parts in Los Angeles, parts in San Francisco, parts in Vienna. So it was a record that was made all over the world. And the new record, I mean, it's already being written. So, and in a couple weeks' time, I'll be with Anthony, I think, recording again.
And why did you call your band Hercules And Love Affair?
I grew up with, loving Greek mythology. And I used to just think I would just dream about it. It was my way of escape, and then I studied it in university. I mean, I guess it's fascinating to me that I went to a school where I had no idea what I was going to do, and now I do something that involves everything that I studied at school. And I don't know, anthropology, art history, gender studies, music, and dance is all what I studied, and that's all what Hercules And Love Affair is.
So can you tell us the most amazing thing you did on stage?
I peed off of the stage.
Really?
Yeah, that's so gross.
Oh, that's gross.
It's really bad, but I had to go so bad. The other thing would be probably wearing just a bikini in -1 degree Celsius weather. I like to take my pants off for some reason.
We are journalists for a women's magazine, so
Yeah.
women love fashion. So
Yeah.
can you describe the Hercules And Love Affair style?
We're very, very, very inspired by, I would say, first and foremost, the young trend setters in New York. And those kids are usually the kids that go unnoticed. Two of my biggest inspirations in terms of fashion are a group of kids called Shane and Tigga, and they dance for us sometimes. Shane and Tigga are my biggest inspirations in New York. They're part of why I want to go home to New York. But in terms of the Hercules style, we've worked closely with a stylist for a couple of years named Jason Ferrer, and he's just a legendary guy he's a young guy, but he's already really, really well established. I think he worked for the first time with Steven Meisel when he was 19. So he was kind of a wonder kid, and he just has an amazing sense of style. So for the last video we did for Painted Eyes, which was a song written for Chanel, we used only Heider Ackermann pieces of clothing. And we did that because recently Karl Lagerfeld has come out and said that the only person who will inherit the house of Chanel in terms of a new designer would be Heider Ackermann. So we thought, what a fun idea if we take the Chanel song and put only Heider Ackermann clothing in it. And Jason styled it, and it's beautiful. Heider Ackermann clothing is just beautiful. It's amazing drapery and things like that. But I think we're much more of a style-oriented band than we are fashion. You know, we're all like so personal with our style that it's impossible
But
to
we
say.
can see that. We can see that when we come.
We're
when we go to your
individuals.
shows, we can see that you have your own personal style. Everyone.
Yeah, we're individuals, and it couldn't be any other way.
Do you read women's magazine? Because
I do.
okay,
A lot?
cool.
I do.
lot of them.
What do you prefer in
Well,
this
I mean,
magazine?
it's hard. I mean, you know, I'm for the most part, American women's magazines don't interest me. It's very rare that I pick up at Harper's Bazaar, America, and find anything exciting or inspirational. I mean, sometimes, but I mean, it's more of an Italian Vogue, French Vogue, L'Homme Vogue,
European way.
European way, and you know, I'm happy to look at some of the other things like Pop, and you know, I really enjoy Mixtape. I think it's a really cool magazine. It doesn't come frequently, but or Purple, Jalouse, a lot of different ones, you know.
Okay.
I mean, and I do it for various reasons. I do it because I like to see pretty girls. I love it when like you see an image and the girl looks so beautiful. You're just like, wow.
And you can find amazing style too.
Yeah, and then you find
Are you
amazing
sure?
style or whatever, you know. You can pull from that. But sometimes there's pictures in those magazines that capture something so special, you know. I mean, it's like that's why Peter Lindbergh was such an amazing photographer, and we want to look at his photos over and over again because he captured Kate Moss at her prime in her most bare beauty, you know? So, I mean, I like to look through magazines for the models, and I also like to, you know, look at the styles, but generally, as far as my own personal style, it's dictated by music. My friend Shane, who has a brand called Hood by Air, and he used to make a lot of our clothing. He always has told me I have DJ fashion, and I don't know what that is. I just, what is DJ fashion? And he's like, don't worry, girl, it's good. The fashion I have, I think, is like, all right now I'm listening to a lot of music from England, death metal between 1985 and 1987. I want to look at pictures of what those guys dress like, and I see them, and then I'm like, I want to look just like that, you know? I have people right now like that I think about that were so cool, like Faith No More, that first video.
You're into Faith No More?
Well, that first video, We Care a Lot was really great, but the first one that made them huge, Mike Muir is wearing this great outfit with kind of a cut-off shirt and like shorts and like, so I would take inspiration from a music video like that for my personal style. You know what I mean? Even as a young kid, I had this sort of struggle between the visual and the musical. I want music to be able to exist on its own, and that's enough, you know? But, you know, I think you can look at something as simple as Fantasia, where Walt Disney put this unbelievable thing together with all of this beautiful classical music, and you realize, wow, visualization of music can be a really amazing and beautiful thing. And I mean, back to the fashion question, I was at the Jill Sanders show on Friday, and my friend Elisaveta, who I rent an apartment from in Vienna, she's designing accessories for Jill, for Raf Simons right now. And I remember starting to go into fashion shows when I was 19, because I used to assist the man who made music for soundtracks.
Okay.
So I was had the privilege.
Can you give up the
glasses just for a bit?
Yeah. I had the honor of sitting at a table with Vivienne Westwood and two other people to discuss what music she would have on her for her
That's
runway
such
show.
an interesting thing to talk about with Vivienne Westwood, actually.
Well, yeah. It's funny right now. My big goal is to get her to let me to walk in one of her fashion shows.
Oh, that would be so great.
And I have a friend who's already kind of on it, and who's gonna try and get it to
That
happen.
looks like a secretive thing. The way you tell it looks like a secretive thing.
If I'm just hoping, I don't want to jinx it, you know. I
Okay.
want it to happen.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Because I'm ginger, I'm a
Oh,
redhead
come on.
like her,
Oh.
and I'm a little bit muscly.
I love gingers.
Yeah, but like she has a special type of guy that she'll cast in a show, and I think I can fit the model. You know, I have tattoos, I have this. Vivian cast me. That's what I'm saying.
That's such a challenge.
And I have a question because you made disco and I love disco. Even if my friends say that's a fashion, can you speak about disco or new disco
Yeah.
or fashion disco?
I have to tell
with
you,
disco?
you know, I've sort of pushed myself past, I think, a little bit the threshold for disco now. I've explored it so much. I've had so much fun with it. But what's really inspiring me now is what I listened to when I was a 15-year-old, which was like classic house music.
Okay.
And yeah, Chicago dance music with an Italo flair sometimes, or industrial music, or ambient music. Like these kinds of things are interesting me right now.
Thank you.
Parfait. Tout de suite.
Tiens.
That was fun.
Continue.
We talked about
Juste, dis-moi.
it was more than just
Oui,
like
déjà. Non. Eh ben, nickel. Moi non plus.
Why are you
Parfait.
talking about
Un clap,
this
parce qu'il va falloir
Where are you going to play them?
Ouais, tu peux le faire devant sa caméra. Fais la mise au point sur. Fais la mise au point sur.
That was boring.
Mets tes
really
mains
tired
ensemble.
when you have
Dans
to be
l'endroit
like.
où il fait la mise au point dessus. Ok.
If you look on the internet, you can
Bon, juste pour moi.
I mean, even though you
Tu peux arrêter les miens? Ouais, tu